Hi, everybody. Episode 70 of Video Rot. I know it's 70 because after a moment of just elder confusion, I realized that I forgot to post last week's episode to YouTube. So that's really applicable for anybody that is listening to us live. If you're listening to us next week on the video that's uploaded, it's all going to be up, so it doesn't matter. But Todd and I are old. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you. It's been a busy week. It's the first time I forgot, just plumb forgot. So it is what it is. But last week was a fun episode. This will be a fun episode as well. I'm always excited when it's a week where River has to dish me questions and segments because I like to put the stuff together, but I also like to guess. I really enjoy it. But without
This will
getting to
be
it,
this will be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying to stump you on these. I think you'll do pretty well though this week.
without getting too ahead of myself, because I want to do the proper opening and before we get into the meat of the topic. But the idea I have for this episode, if it turns out to be fun and Todd likes it, I think we could condense it and possibly make it a new segment that we could like flip flop from time to time, like the Choose Your Destiny or something. To add some new stuff. But for
Hmm.
the sake of this episode, it's going to be more robust. But anyway, before we get into all that, let's just kind of catch up. Is there anything that you've gotten, anything you want to show off, anything you've been watching that you care to tell people at home?
Oh God. I'll have to look at my letterbox. This week has been crazy, man. There's been snowstorms like every day. I think my kids have only been in school 3 days this whole year, so we've had like God, the whole city was shut down like for the 4 or 5 days, and it's finally starting to get back up. And then tomorrow we're supposed to get another snowstorm. So it's been like -10 all week, man. It's been just hell here.
Your
So
your oldest, is he in actual? He's in kindergarten, first grade now, right? He's got
first
to know
grade.
first
Yeah.
grade. So is the little one? They seem to always love. He probably loves school, but do they miss school? Or are they like, yay,
Oh
snow
yeah.
day?
Yeah. I mean, they like the snow days, but after a while, I mean, what can they do? They're sitting around the house while I'm working or my wife's working. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they get kind of bored after a while, but I want them back in school to be around their friends. But yeah, hopefully here in the next week or so it'll start getting a little bit better here, but it's just been hell.
Has it not gotten any warmer? Is it not
No.
because I don't know if it's where's the whole country is experiencing this, and I don't know if it's coming from my part of the country and it's moving because it was a week or two ago that it was really cold here for Arizona. That is like we were having like 32 lows and like 40s highs, and then like all last week, most of last week and this week, it's been kind of warm. It's been upper 50s and then like high 40s, which so I didn't know if it's just moved away from us or what the deal. But I know people in Texas are still going through it.
Yeah, Texas, it's pretty much all the United States. It's pretty much getting hit hard. Midwest is getting pounded, and then the Northeast, I believe, is getting hit pretty hard too. So, but I did get some stuff watched. If you want me to talk about that.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Anybody in the chat, or if you want to comment on the future vid, just sort of roll call. Like, where does everybody live? Like, what region? You don't have to necessarily tell me where you live, but or like, how many Midwesterners, how many Eastern Westerners do we have out here? Because I gotta say, I mean, if you want to tell us the state, that's kind of interesting too. I would. I don't know. I always think these types of shows and stuff like guys like us appeal to Midwest type people because I mean, at heart, I'm a Midwest kid. I think I'll always will be, but I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all.
I
You
hate
guys,
it.
you guys are going through all this shit, and I'm just over here like, dude, you guys, all it does is reaffirm that I don't miss it.
No, it's been -10, and I see. I work from my basement. As my office is my basement. It's
Mm,
53 degrees, so I'm in meetings with like a stocking cap on and stuff with my boss in there because it's just my heater can't keep up, man, when it's that cold.
yeah.
Um, it's brutal.
Well, hopefully everybody out there is keeping warm. I feel great. No, you know what's funny is I got a brother that lives out here, and I guess the word is he decided to move back to Missouri next month, and I
Really?
don't get it. I don't get it. I think all that stuff. I'm not gonna get into like personal stuff or his personal stuff. I think it's not so much. I'm kind of hearing this from other people. I'm just hearing this, because we don't all like stay in touch and talk really on the regular and stuff like that. But I'm hearing this like from like the grandmother or another brother saying, "Hey, did you hear this?" And I think I think the reason that was given to like my grandmother or whatever was, oh, I missed the change of seasons. I've lived out because he's lived in this region because he was military too. So he was based in Texas for 3 years, and
Yeah.
then so between Texas and here, yeah, he's been out here probably 13 in this area 13 years. He was in El Paso before for 3 years, and then he's been in the Arizona between Tucson and parts of Phoenix for the last 10 years. And but I don't know, but I think it's other stuff. I think he needs to, like when you're having whatever problems in your life, or maybe you have something bothering you, and sometimes it feels like hitting a reset's the cure for it. It's like, you know what, I just gotta dissociate from all these things that I'm attaching to a place.
Yeah.
You know what I think it's more like that. I think he needs like a clean slate for whatever reason, because otherwise I don't know why he'd be going back home. I mean, honestly, Springfield, Missouri is kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's hard to go back to. I mean, as much as we go back every year to visit my grandparents and stuff like that, and I mean that's really the only reason I would go back, because uh, once you leave it, man, I don't know. Like you have a different perspective. Anybody out there that comes from a certain kind of city, and I even get that vibe when I visited you in Omaha. Oh, sorry, sorry. You want me to bleep it? I'll bleep it.
Yeah.
Just remind me. Hey. Well, anyway, I get that vibe when I visited you too, because I grew up there too for my young life, and I just I don't know. The older I get, the more I realize that memories and nostalgia is just that. It's kind of in the past. You can't ever really relive it, you know, because it'd be different. I could go back to where you live, and we could go back to all the old same haunts, but most of those haunts aren't there
Oh,
anymore.
yeah, it's not the
They're
same.
or and if they are, they're just completely different. And so it's like, I'm not going to dox you anymore, but if we go to a certain mall, right, that'll go unnamed, that we all went to, or a couple of different malls, it it's just going to look like every other mall that exists right now, because it's like my nostalgia is doesn't lie within that mall. It lies within like Babbage's and Software, etc., and
Yeah.
KB Toys,
Aladdin's Castle.
the
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's like, um I don't know. I when I go back to Missouri, I just Springfield's not a tiny city. It's not a big city. It's a good size. Like it's a good size in the sense that I could, if something brought me back there for whatever reason, I'm not going to eat a bullet or anything, because they technically have everything you need, right? I mean, there
Yeah.
is a Best Buy, there is a Target, there's the biggest Bass Pro in the world, like there. But maybe they don't have like 20 Targets, but they have a Target, they have a mall, like, and it's not that big of a city, so it's like you can get across it in like 15-20 minutes. It feels like nothing. And if you like the outdoors, you got the lakes and everything else, is so you can get what you need. So that's really all that's really important.
I'm always
But
looking at places down towards you. I actually I looked into it. My current job, they have an office. They changed it where we have to live a certain amount of distance to the office, and they have an office in Arizona. It's in Chandler, Arizona. I don't know.
oh, that's our area. That's where my brother's moving from.
Isn't that down south? South Phoenix?
Okay, so Mesa, where I pick you up at that
Yeah.
shitty airport,
Yeah.
Chandler is the next town over. So like
Okay.
so basically from that airport, we're in Chandler in like 2 miles.
Oh,
It's right
okay.
there. It's right there. But Chandler's nice.
Okay.
The thing is Mesa is really big,
Hmm.
and I don't even think I've ever really been to the nice part of Mesa, because the only part of Mesa I've ever really been in is the part that borders Tempe and like the college, and that part is just, and where that airport is, there's sketchy parts of it, because there's just a lot of like old retired people that don't have a lot of money, or like student living. But it's so big, there has to be nice parts of it, and Chandler is right next to it. And actually, I take it back. Where the airport is, there's really nice shopping centers over there. I take it back. I don't think that's really the shitty part, but anyway, I digress. And Chandler is really, 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 really nice. I like Chandler a lot. In fact,
Okay.
if I was looking for houses, if I didn't already live here, Chandler would be one of the places I would look, just because
Hmm.
um, it's not Scottsdale, which is really expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, if you can't afford to live in Scottsdale, I would want to live in Surprise, Chandler, Goodyear. Glendale's really really big. It's just like Mesa, where it's so big that there's some shady parts of it, but there's nice parts of it. It's just so massive. You got the football stadium over there and all that stuff. And um, well, dude, Arizona would be glad to have you.
I
But
love it, man. I love Arizona so much. It's
if
great.
if you lived out in Chandler, that would bring me out to that, because it's funny because the city's so big. I mean, honestly, for me, Chandler's an hour away.
Yeah, yeah.
You are on the polar opposite end of the metro area, which is fine. It's just a really big city. But pretty much, if you were to, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Let me think. I'm pretty sure if you go past, you're like the buck stops with you. If you keep heading south, then you're going to be in Gilbert, which technically isn't in the Phoenix Metro and might not be Maricopa County anymore. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Gilbert's very nice. It
Hmm.
seems very open, really big houses. I know Chester Bennington had a house out there because
Really?
he's from Phoenix.
Hmm.
Well, I think he died. Did he
Yeah.
die out here? Did he actually?
I don't.
Was
I
he?
don't.
I
I
think
don't
he
know if
might
he's
have
on
been at.
tour or what.
I think no, he was at home, but he might have
Hmm.
been at his house in Gilbert. I don't know where it happened, but and then I feel like, you keep then after that point, you drive down the highway for an hour, and then you're like in Marana. You start hitting like a Tucson metro area, Marana, which is really 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 nice. And then you're in like Tucson within an hour and a half and shit like that. So that's actually a cool area because, I mean, if you live on that side of town, the cool thing is you're super close to, you're right there in Tempe, basically, right?
Yeah.
And you're super close to Scottsdale, so you're like really cool, close to all the epicenter stuff over there. Me, it's like, yeah, I don't have all the nightlife out here, but we're near all the sports arenas and shit. We're
Yeah.
we're, we're
Okay.
closer, but you're not far from downtown in Chandler, because downtown's kind of a midpoint. So like the baseball and the Suns arenas over there, the baseball stadiums over there, but we're by the stadium, we're by the hockey arena, so
Hmm.
it's just kind of give or take. But it's just so big. There's just, I don't know. I used to live central Phoenix when I first moved out here, and to me that was kind of a neat, that's like perfect. It's like I feel like I was only 20 minutes from anything, which is like, oh, that's kind of cool. But
Yeah, you're in a really nice area though. I like where you are. Yeah, I'll have
uh,
to look into Chandler and see. I haven't really got to look at the housing and everything like that, but
our neighborhood, no, I like our neighborhood, and it's just grown substantially because 20 years ago there was, oh gosh, I don't even know. 20 years ago there's probably 20,000 people that lived in Surprise, and now
mm,
it's like, Surprise is bigger than Springfield.
hmm.
Just the Surprise area, it's bigger
That's
than the whole city
crazy.
of Springfield. So like it's just blown up, and it's just now it's getting harder and harder to tell apart from a place like Chandler, because because when I first moved out here even 10 years ago, where I bought my house, we had a Walmart, there was like a Safeway, there was enough stuff, but like, dude, it's exploded now. Like, I've got like fucking two Chick-fil-A's, an arms throw away. I've got a Costco. They're opening up. There's so much. Arizona is full of so much empty land, which is kind of a
Oh
point of
yeah.
contention with people out here. It's like, God, leave the land alone. But it's like, it's just land. Like, what are we doing with it? You might as well put something there. I don't know. Like,
Just dirt. Yeah.
but we got so much land, and they're just basically, there's a big Scottsdale builder that bought up all the land out here, and they're just leasing it out to everybody. We have another Target coming like a mile from my
Hmm.
house. We got Costco. So I don't know, man. It's just, I can't tell the difference anymore. It kind of sucks because it's been increasing the traffic over here, but what are you gonna do? Um,
Yeah.
Apartment complexes cropping up all over the place, dude. It used to feel but back then, it was before I was even here, literally 20 years ago, it was just some old folks communities and like golf courses. It was all retired old people.
Yeah.
And now it's just like they probably hate us. They're like, "Oh, the young people came in." And now it's just families now. Now it's just like young families with like small kids. So I'm pretty sure the old people hate it, but what are you going to do? What's
They can move back to the cold weather.
No, that's the worst part though. See, I don't know. I don't know if you'd experience that much in Chandler because I don't know if, but I know out here, like Sun City and Surprise, dude, snowbirds. They,
Yeah.
it's just they all have like second homes out here. If they're well off, and just around Christmas time, I love it because the weather cools down. But over here, the fucking traffic, dude, because it's just
Mhm.
old people and they're all here, and then they'll all leave when it gets warm again. But they're the worst drivers, dude. I mean, old people always are. There's a dude over here. I In the last like 6 years, I've gotten in like 5 fender benders. And it's always nothing. It's always like some old guy backing into me in the grocery store parking lot or something. It's like what the fuck? It's always the most bullshit shit right next to your house. You're always close to your home. Um, but anyway, I dealt with that stuff in Branson too. So what can I? I mean, I'm
Oh
used to
yeah.
it. It's
The
just
Midwest drivers are horrible. So
so. Hey, what's up, Mutineer?
hey,
Apartments,
mutineer.
apartments no one can afford, right? I don't feel good about. I don't feel. I'm not envious of any renters out there,
I
man.
know.
I
I'm not
just
either.
my heart goes out to you guys. I've said it a lot, but I I'm very blessed and lucky that I bought my first home when I did. I seized an opportunity because if I didn't seize the opportunity when I saw I had the opportunity, I might not be in a house right now because like
I
you never
wouldn't.
know
Yeah.
if you don't seize whatever opportunity you see in front of you, whatever that the money you might have access to at that moment might not be there if you so much as wait 3 more months. Something medically could happen. You never know, but just you're not predicting what the market's going to be like in a few years. But luckily, I had that house and I was able to spin it and turn over a profit and get So I'm lucky, man, because dude, if I didn't have a house right now, dude, I don't know when I would be getting a house. It would be so hard because I feel like I'm up to my fucking chin as it is sometimes with stuff, and the house is the only thing that keeps me from walking off that ledge sometimes. Like, thank God I got my money tied up in this place because it'd be so hard to save money with like $3,000 rent or whatever the hell people are paying now. God
Well,
dang.
that's why I haven't moved out of my first house. So I have a lot of equity built up in my first house,
Yeah.
and I want to move, but the interest rates are so shitty. I can't even look, man. So, and I know you can refi, but it's like I'm not. I don't want to jump into something right now.
Have
Maybe
the
in a
interest
year or
rates
so.
gotten any better though?
Not
I don't
really,
know.
no.
I'm not paying. I'm only paying so much attention to it because it doesn't concern me. But yeah, I mean, eventually those will come down. It's just a waiting game. So anybody out there, man, just keep saving your money the best you can and wait for that time to strike again. You just gotta be ready. Just have
Just
money
invest in a property. Yeah, absolutely. That's a
and
great
get a
investment.
and like I kind of had wished I gotten into property before I did because
Yeah.
you just kind of think, oh, like, oh, I'm not ready for that. Blah, blah, blah. You just think, oh, so much responsibility. But no, it's not. It wasn't. Just get an FHA loan. Put down your 6% or whatever. Don't worry about the 20%. Refi after a couple of years, and just
Hmm.
that's what I did. I got like an
Yep.
FHA loan. I had to pay mortgage PMI, but
Hmm.
just pay to play, and get yourself in a good situation, and it'll all be worth it. But anyway. Yeah, and if you come out here, Todd, if you ever get any more money, this is like investment property central. This is where you buy. This is where everybody buys condos and fucking Airbnb because we're like the land of condos, dude.
Yeah.
Because we live out. There's just tons and tons of condos everywhere and stuff like that. People vacation and whatever.
Well, I
That's what
I
I.
can't imagine to be within the next 5 years because I'm pretty much stuck here with my wife's family. But I do want to see if I can get out. If we can get out, give them an incentive to come down to Arizona. Because I told him, I'm like, do you really want to be living in where I'm from in the Midwest when it's negative 20 degrees when you're in your 70s?
You
Hell
gotta
no.
tell. You gotta tell them now. You gotta tell them that right now while it's really cold. Like, you really like this?
Well,
You
that's
know.
that's what I keep saying. Like, oh, you might want to get like a motorhome and travel or something like that. Travel the U.S.
Hey, like, be like, look, I don't know, 100 million old people can't be wrong. They all go where it's warm. Like when they get older, they all do. They all do. It's like their
I know,
joints,
right?
right? I don't know what it is. Is it the
It
joints?
is,
Is
man.
you
I'm already
know,
getting I'm already getting bitter.
dude. Tell them to take up golf, dude. That's what everybody does out here, man. And
Yeah.
all you have to be is like what retirement age. You just have to be like in your upper 50s or whatever, and then you qualify to move in one of these houses in the the gated old people retirement communities that are on golf courses. Dude, they're fun. I live right next to one, and dude, they all just like ride their golf carts to the neighborhood, wave to each other, and it actually. I kind of wish I could live there. But
Well, I mean, they can move down with us if they want to live in the same city. I'm all for that. If they want to come down and live in
no
Arizona,
way,
that'd
you
be
can have a
great.
Mother Winslow, dude. They're living in your basement, dude.
Dude, it'd be better than living here in
Hey, it'd
negative
be
10-degree weather, man.
hey, you'd
Hell
have living
no.
babysitters, dude. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to see him, I mean, kill two birds with one stone there.
Hey, yeah, man. So anyway, that's very interesting, man. Well, keep me in the know about that if you ever want me to answer any questions. But I want to. The only thing I've gotten, you said you watched something. I don't want to interrupt you. We kind of got off on a tangent.
Yeah, so I've watched a couple movies this week. The um first one I watched was Carlito's Way. I watched that Arrow one that I have. That movie's great, man.
It's
I
great,
I
man.
haven't seen it in so long, man, and it really holds up. I was very, very pleasantly surprised on how good that movie is. Um, I think I gave that like a 9 out of 10. I liked it that much.
Yeah, no, I give it something similar. I love it, and actually, when I think of De Palma and Pacino, I always liked Carlito's Way better than Scarface.
Yeah,
I know everybody
yeah.
talks about Scarface, but like I love Carlito's Way, man. Um,
And I like
and
Scarface too, but yeah, something about Carlito's Way. I don't know.
it's got a
It's
great supporting.
nonstop. It's nonstop. I think. I mean, you're never bored in the movie.
No, great supporting cast. Sean Penn. You got Louis Guzman. You've got Benny Blanco from the Block. You got John Leguizamo. You got Penelope Ann Miller, and just a lot of like faces, And I just love it. It's a great story. This guy that just
Yeah.
gets out of the joint, right? That used to be a big player, and he just wants to settle down. And I love it. Like him like going by like the club and everybody the whole they keep trying to pull me back in
Oh
type
yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Mhm.
And I it's just so great, and he gets wrapped up in it early, right, when he gets asked to escort the guy on the drug deal or whatever, and then he gets dragged into it again, right, the whole I
And
I
he
don't
wants
know.
to be a car rental guy down in Mexico or something, or
Oh, was it not Florida?
maybe it was Florida or something like that,
I
which
don't
is
yeah I don't
cool.
remember.
I mean, just out of left field, it's like, why the hell would you want to do that? Well, that's my dream. Okay,
He wants to
you know.
move down there with Gail. Come on,
Yeah.
Gail. Hey, what's up, Gert Shop? Yeah, that's a
Hey,
great flick,
Gertrude.
man. And I got the Arrow thing too.
It looks beautiful on 4K,
I
man.
just watched it a couple years ago, so I wasn't itching to watch it, right? But I might watch it here soon because I absolutely love that movie. I've seen it at least 10 times. I love it.
That was the first one I watched. Second one I watched was for the first time. People put this movie over, and I finally watched it. Wolf Creek.
Never seen it.
It's the Aussie slasher type of
Yeah, I've
film.
I've definitely heard of
It's
it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, man. I mean, it's not like there's not like a huge body count or anything, but it's just I don't know something about those Aussie movies, those horror flicks. I really enjoy. So I like that a lot. I want to check out the sequel. I haven't seen Wolf Creek 2 either, so we'll be watching that. And then the third one I watched was The Last Broadcast, which is a found footage type of film. I think it was released in like 98. And it was based on the New Jersey Devil. Um and I think it was like pre or not pre, it was like infant internet age live streaming. So it was really interesting. And it's like it seemed kind of like a student film, but I thought it was pretty solid. So I really enjoyed. I love those found footage movies like the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that. The late 90s shit. So I would recommend watching that. Some people might not like it, but I liked it for what it was. It was pretty interesting.
How long before you think found footage is going to circle back around and be in again? Because it came back again, and now
I
it's went to bed. You think it's going to come back around again? Like
well,
eventually, it's got to like somebody's. I bet you they're so cheap to make those movies that I bet you they're never going to stop trying to cash in. Like we're going to strike it hot because it's like such a little investment to make, and all they got to do is hit big with one, and they just hit the lotto.
which I never understood why they went out because I mean I like I never got out of found footage movies. Like I did the paranormal activity movies, like the first three I enjoyed, and then I got sick of it. But Found footage movies, people started shitting on them. Like, I still like them. Like, I never did not like them. So, hope they come back.
Yeah, Mutineer says, "I love how Carlito's Way feels like it was made in the '70s."
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it's the setting is really cool too. Like, it doesn't hurt that their club's like a disco, and I don't know. I think it's a fantastic flick. Um, I want to show you something I got. I meant to show this last week, and it just slipped my mind. But so for the last 10 years, at least 11 years, I have been very curious to order off the House Score shop, House Score Records.
I've ordered a shirt on there a long time ago.
Yeah, I know you had the eyes. You had that
Mhm.
T-shirt, but I've always had my eyes on. I bought like a bundle because they just it's cheaper if you buy stuff. They've been selling this shirt for fucking 13, 14 years. No, since I think they've been selling this shirt since 2006.
Is that the Mount Manson eyes? Is that the one?
No, it's the house, the classic, not
Oh yeah,
classic,
yeah, that's
the
cool. I
raglan.
like that.
Dude,
Yeah,
they've been selling this. The We Owe You Nothing, dude. Actually, they they've been
that's
selling
awesome.
this since 2006. I remember watching this YouTube video with Phil and someone doing an interview, and he's wearing it. I'm like, God, this sure looks so cool. And it's funny how, I mean, they have like new merch and stuff. They've updated it, but they still have like all the old stuff after all these years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. And
While
then
you're talking about that, real quick. So this week is the 10-year anniversary of when we actually interviewed Phil Anselmo, for the House
wait,
Core show.
when you did, but I interviewed. Oh wait, I
You might have
okay.
interviewed him too, but with when we were with Pat and everything, we did
No, no, no,
the
no. So
film.
when I interviewed him, it was for the House Score Festival. You interviewed him for the solo album. He was on tour.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's when Pat was talking music. I talked strictly movies. That's what I chose to do because he was promoting the first House Score horror. So on that note, I always regretted not going to that with you. We didn't make it happen. I felt because obviously Corey Mitchell, who put it on, he died during the festivities of year two.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like, I think he did one more and they stopped. But man, that first year I think was an opportunity for us, and I think we squandered
We
it.
should have went. I know we were talking about it. We should have.
I was begging you. I should just went by myself if you didn't want to go. But so we had made good friends with Corey Mitchell, and he was the curator. And I imagine if we'd gone to that, we could have rubbed elbows with Phil and met, because Coffin Joe, they brought him up from Mexico, and he's dead
Yeah.
now, right? So it's
Yeah.
like they had Coffin Joe, they had Down played, Super Joint played, Guar played. It just sounded like it would have been such a great time. Is that when they had Goblin doing live scoring Suspiria
Yep.
or Dawn of the Dead? Dude, it's just
Oh God, why did I not go to that?
I don't know.
Jeez.
I should have went without you if that was the case, but I thought it would have been so cool. I mean, I was ready to take a bus down there if I absolutely had to. But I don't know. You just kind of think it's going to keep going on, and it just didn't. It got stopped in its tracks. We died. Anyway, so they still have the poster in stock from the first year
Mm.
that we didn't go to, and you
Mhm.
would think it would have a special place in my heart had we gone, but no. I wanted to get it because I always loved that poster.
Is that the one with Phil? That's like looking at the.
He's like,
Yeah, yeah. That's a great poster.
and it's got
Yeah.
Coffin Joe in the corner, and it's got like
Yeah.
Guar. It's got everything in it, and it's over there. You want me to take it out of the roll or no? Is it not necessary? No, I'm not gonna take it out.
No, don't. I don't want you to.
But I have to say, oh, and then I bought a hat, a snapback.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
but you know what? I don't. I have to admit, I think I'm really particular about my snapbacks, and you never know how big they're gonna fit. Even though they're adjustable, they just like this one fits great. This one that we got at the convention, it fits my
Yeah.
head, the mold up top. This one's a little tiny. So it's kind of a waste of money.
The majority of people have tiny heads, dude. I have a huge head, so
I have a big head, and and also, I think it's not stitching. I'm probably gonna. It's got this on the bottom of it, which I really wish wasn't on there, but it's not straight. Look at it's crooked, dude. On the picture, it's supposed to be
well, it's
right.
not classy, dude.
It's supposed to be right in the middle. It's
Yeah.
with the picture, so it's an uneven print, and so it's like it looks like shit. But it's that kind of weird. I could probably scratch it off.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do that, but yeah, I feel like I feel like this is kind of pricey for a fairly basic bitch trucker hat. So I can't recommend that. But but in the poster, Look, I bet you $1 million. I don't know how many of those posters they have lying around, but I got the poster, and even the poster is like around the edges, dude. There's a couple tears, and it's
Oh,
crinkled. Like, where the fuck are they keeping this shit? Now, I'm not making a big deal about it because I'm gonna frame it, and I think the frame will cover it up,
yeah, yeah.
where it's
Well,
kind of fucked up on the edges. But I'm like, man, for as much as this shit cost, because it's kind of $25. It's an 18 by 24 poster. It's not
yeah,
big.
yeah.
Year two's poster was like 24 30. It was a lot bigger, but this poster's so cool. I don't care. I'm gonna pick up a frame for it this weekend and get it on the
Did he
wall.
sign? Did Phil sign that or no?
No, it's not
Okay,
signed.
okay.
Should be.
Yeah.
Trying to
Oh,
sell me a
you
fucking
lost me.
it should be signed. It's an 11-year-old poster, dude. I paid $25 for 18 by 24. That was kind of crumpled up. I feel like he should have signed it. But anyway, I don't know if I'm like super overall pleased with my purchase overall. Just because it's like, well, the hat, the misprinting on the hat, it's kind of small. The poster feels like oh god, we sold one of those posters, those ones that are 11 years old. Like you had whoever going through the warehouse, like God, we got to find one. It's just like kicked under a fucking chair somewhere, blowing the dust. All right, here, pack it up. It's like,
Well, is it at
what?
least like card stock, like
You
hard?
know
Is it
what? You know what?
or what is it?
Now that I think about it, so when I bought it, it was kind of pricey, dude. But I'm like, you know what? I've been flirting with getting some of this merch, dude, for 10 years. So
Yeah,
I bought like, I don't remember how much it was. If it was like $100 before tax, it was kind of a lot for everything. But after I paid for everything, the shipping was ridiculous. I'm like, they wanted like 20, they wanted a lot of shipping.
oh,
But anyway, so I bought it. So it was like $25 of shipping. But anyway, I went ahead and did it. And I then got a refund like 2 days later of $10. And I'm like, so I didn't think about it before. I just figured the shipping was a lot, dude. I'm like, you know
yeah.
what? I wonder if they charge up front padded shipping and then they figure out how much it really is and they refunded me. I don't know. Maybe that was it. Or did they realize the poster was kind of imperfect and they decided to give me a $10 credit on it? But it just came out of nowhere. It said $10 credit from HouseCore. So whatever. They lost me.
Oh,
But
I'm looking at their. They have a coffee mug, dude. This is a cool shirt, dude.
you gonna
Yeah,
show it?
let me present it. Yeah.
But yeah, I plan on framing the poster this weekend, and I'll send a picture. Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny, dude. Uh,
Yeah, go go to the posters. Go ahead and yeah, search posters. They had a poster from his
oh,
first
that's
solo.
funny, dude. The
Oh, the stupid
masks.
mask, dude. The Bill and Phil. Shitty merch, dude. It's funny. Go yeah. So
This is the
that's the
one you
one.
got, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the one I
awesome.
got. Click.
Yeah.
I love. So you got Coffin Joe up there in the corner. You got Odorous
Yeah.
Urungus Aguar. He died. He died right after this. So I could have,
Yeah.
that would have been cool to have been a part of that for that. And I'm sure if you look closely, you'd probably see a lot more Easter egg stuff in there. Oh, is that Suspiria, the girl hanging? Is that what that's supposed to be? Is that a rope around her neck in the
Yeah.
corner?
That's Suspiria, yeah.
The live score. Yeah. So it's just a great
Oh,
poster.
Debbie to Dawn. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's so. Even though we didn't go, it's a regret. I wanted that poster because I wanted it back then. I'm like, oh, it's so cool. But
No,
yeah,
I
man,
don't I don't blame you. That's a cool fucking post.
I I
I always like
real
that too.
I really regret not going. I really regret.
Yeah.
Go back. That's the second year they did. They only did 2 years, I believe. So go up. The Phil Leatherface.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's not. I like the first one better, but
Yeah, you do.
this one's bigger. I think this one's like 24 by 36. But look at this lineup, man. This one had Danzig and the Sam Hain reunion with Danzig. That would have been neat.
Yeah.
You had Guar come back, Super Joint, Voivod, Napalm Death would have been cool. And there's all the guests. I can't read it, but yeah, yeah. So go back and what else we got in posters?
I think that's the only
Yeah, see that one down there on the right? Like there's like the
Oh, these are cool, dude.
look at the metallic one. That one's sold out. Look at that one.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, the Choosing Mental Illness tour, reflective tour poster. Dude, I saw those things on the tour. I went to this tour. You went to the first album tour. I went to this one. This one was great because they played an entire. It was just Pantera, besides two songs,
Mm.
and but yeah, that's a cool poster. But that's sold out. But anyway, yeah. So let's, if you don't mind, since you're already in the screens here, why don't you go ahead and get the first segment up, and then we'll go ahead and get right into our topic.
Yeah, let's do that.
For our topic, I told Todd to get together 6 things. We might not have time for that. I'll kind of gauge it. Maybe we'll just do 3 each because I have no idea. I have
I
tons.
just have four. I just have four. So
So
I
maybe we'll do 3 because I think it'll. I think yeah, it'll run long. I think three's plenty. So if we just do 3 or maybe 4, just make sure if you did different mediums, pick.
I can only pick two because I didn't play games in the
Okay,
80s.
all right. Well, no, and I didn't either, but I'm kind of cheating there. Like we were born in the '80s, but we're kids in the '90s. But we still grew up with '80s stuff in the early '90s, man. Between like movies and
Yeah.
games, like NES. So that's where my head was going. But we'll work with what you got. But go ahead and whenever we do this. All right. So I'm gonna close the comments. We're gonna
Yep.
play name that Kino. You guys can guess. I can't see your answers, and but Todd will let you know if you guys got it right.
All right, Aaron, name that Kino.
A little hot. Back to the Future.
No.
I feel like it's some kind of plane or car or something overheating. A little hot seems like a not seems almost like goofy, like it would be like a parody. Is this like Hot Shots Part Deux, Hot Shots, dude, or something? What?
No. No. But
Um,
no.
is it Thunder in Paradise, dude?
No.
Give me another one. There's no way I'm gonna get it on this one. I mean, I'm kind of stuck on this.
All right. Let's see if anybody in the chat. Nope.
It's a Tin Cup, Bull Durham.
Nope.
Um, Trying to look at that wardrobe. I mean, I can't tell who the chick is. It kind of looks like John McClane's wife. It's not Die Hard 2, is it?
No.
She was on a plane the whole movie. She was not even there. Yeah, I'm looking at that guy's outfit. He's got weird black sleeves. He looks like he's got like a white vest, white pants. How many slides do we have?
I got one more.
Like, and that's it. Just the third one. It's gone.
Yeah.
This is
But I
tough,
mean,
dude.
no, you're doing great, man. Actually,
All right,
what you've been talking through the past two slides, yeah, you're pretty much on it.
pretty much on it. Okay, so it's not Fade to Black then. That's what that guy's outfit looks like. Um, okay, go back to the first one if I could. Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. It's none of those.
Nope.
Top Gun.
Nope. Mutineer got it.
Mutineer got it.
Good job, Mutineer.
Jeez. I feel like it's racking my brain. Overload. LH. What is that? A little hot. Something's running a little hot. Is it the Wraith, dude?
No. Mutineer, you probably know it by slide 2. Or did you know slide 1 or slide 2? Because slide 2 is a dead giveaway.
Okay, go back to slide 2 then. I'm gonna take a little more time on this.
Who are the
Ghost,
people?
dude?
Who are the people that are dancing?
You got me. I'm trying to. Looks like John McClane's wife. Is it is Officer and a Gentleman, dude?
No.
Is it Iron Eagle, dude?
No, these are the two main characters. Oh, he got a slide. He got a slide 2.
Well, I wish I could zoom in onto that. I can't.
I could zoom in.
No, that's cheating. I think. Oh, you can zoom in. You can make the picture bigger. Okay, that's not cheating. Gosh, man. And you're sure I've seen this a lot.
I'm sure you've seen it. This is a classic.
It's not Ghost. It's not My Boyfriend's Back. Remember that random obscure 90s movie? Dude, I'm okay. So
I mean, the
it
first
looks
slide's a dead. The first slide's a dead giveaway.
the first slide was.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they're in a bar that's closed. That's why I'm like, gosh, Top Gun. But it looks like it's closed. It's a bar or restaurant. I don't know if that's a couple that are patrons, and I'm looking at the pants and I'm thinking, okay, that's why I'm like Top Gun, Officer and a Gentleman, or that's what I'm thinking, stuff like that. Is it A Few Good Men?
No.
I'm looking at this uniform, but maybe it's like dress attire, like he's at a ball. Go back to the first slide. It's a dead giveaway, dude. Okay, so
Yes.
you said I was on it when I'm guessing all these things like a vehicle or a cockpit or something like that.
Yes.
I'm just not Thunder in Paradise. I'm trying to. It's killing me, man. I'm not going to waste any more time. Maybe I'd get it eventually if I really just drained the clock on this. But go ahead and just Airplane.
Yes.
Did I say Airplane?
No.
I fucking could have swore I said Airplane.
Nope. You were saying it's on an airplane. On an airplane. You didn't say it was airplane.
The whole fucking time I'm thinking, "Don't call me
Yes.
Shirley." I thought I said it.
Nope.
I thought I said it.
Nope.
That's bullshit. I thought I literally
Nope.
had it checked off in my head already.
He didn't say it, did he, Mutineer? No, he didn't.
Dang. I swear to you, in my head I had already checked off Airplane.
Yeah, he said the attire tipped him off. So this is the dream. Remember this in the cockpit.
You know what's
Little
funny
hot,
though?
and then
I've
dream
never seen
sequence.
Airplane.
Oh God, really?
Nope. So I get a pass on this because I've never seen
Okay.
it. I just know I've seen the clips so many damn times that like, but yeah. So I don't know the scene, but I fuck man. If you would have showed the blow up doll and all Leslie Nielsen, but I've never
Well,
watched.
that's a dead giveaway. That is. He said you said every other parody but Airplane.
Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2. Damn it. Maybe that's also what I'm thinking too. But no, I literally ran Airplane through my head. I just must have not have spewed it out. But I don't care. I've never seen this movie. I get a pass. I feel like I should get a pass.
I'll give you a pass.
Todd is assuming he's assuming I've seen it. Gets us in trouble.
You and the lady need to watch it. Okay, put that on your list.
I feel like I said, I was on the right path. Had I actually seen the movie, I might have known a scene like this. But this is not a scene I would know from clips.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right.
This one I know you have seen.
That's a scratch. Okay. Let me look at the chat. Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Let me present.
We have to make that a rule going forward if it already hasn't been a rule. If it turns out one of us hasn't really seen it, it's a scratch. That's what
that's
I
fine.
feel like.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Name that Kino.
Okay. Is this guy laying brick? Maybe he's looking. Looks like he's is that a prison bar in the front there? Is it a guy like laying brick? Is it a guy digging the china? It looks like a guy laying bricks down.
Do those look like bricks?
Maybe. Oh, is it
metallic
drugs?
bricks?
Oh, is it? Maybe it's money. Are they bills? Drugs? I'm seeing.
You're
gloves.
warm. You're hot.
White gloves. I'm seeing. Drugs. And I'm seeing what looks like a bar in the middle. So I don't know if that's supposed to. Maybe it's like in a truck or something, like carrying this stuff. Is it? I mean, I don't know. You just watch Carlito's Way. Is this a scene in Carlito's Way? I don't remember. Yeah, but those are definitely white gloves, right? Those are not pasty hands. Yeah, there's no wrinkles in that. Those are gloves. I don't know. Give me the next one. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a feeler.
My
blow? Is it blow, dude?
No. My next one's if you don't get it by the next one.
Okay.
God. I mean, this next one's a dead giveaway. All right.
Oh, gosh. Ah, I know that guy. That's the fucking dude from
Mutineer
which
was what is it? What is it? Tell me.
is this Four Rooms? No, that'd be Tim
No.
Roth. This Four Rooms. Gosh, dude, this is the Dead Give. I know this actor. He was on was he on news? Not News Radio. Was he on Just Shoot Me? What TV show was he on? I gosh, it's not Bank Heist because he's too young there. That actor. Yeah, that monitor's old. I mean, the actor in his age. This is going to put us in probably the early '90s. I guess it could be like late '80s too, but I'm gonna guess it's like early.
It's 90s.
Yeah, it's gonna be earlier '90s,
Early mid 90s.
early mid '90s. Because I know the actor, and his name's Chet, dude. I don't even, dude. I don't know. This is the giveaway.
Yeah. This is the goofiest guy in the movie, dude.
Is it Swimming with Sharks, dude? I don't know. Dude, I have no clue. I feel like
Really?
maybe I'm gonna know it. Like maybe I've seen this guy as a desk clerk or a bellhop or whatever the hell he's supposed to be. I mean, you showed drugs. I'm assuming that was drugs. Maybe he works at a
Yep.
bank. Maybe those were
Drugs and a desk clerk.
drugs and a desk clerk. In early mid '90s.
Chet.
If this is Usual Suspects,
No, it's not.
okay. That's too early.
No.
Usual Suspects was mid late '90s. Dude, I'm dying here. I need a hint. Give me.
I saw this in the movie theater with my dad, and I loved it. I've seen this movie probably 100 times. It's by a director everybody hates.
Oh,
But
okay.
I like him.
Okay, so if it's fucking Bad Boys,
It's Bad Boys.
okay, that movie I've maybe not even really seen. Damn it!
How have you not seen Bad Boys?
I've seen Bad Boys one time in my life.
Oh,
I don't like it. I watched it one time like years ago. The only things I remember about it is Téa Leoni's in it. She's the blonde girl. And there's one like dance club scene where they're playing like the fucking Mortal Kombat techno music. Also in that scene.
KMFDM. Yeah.
They're playing it also in there. So it's like yeah, that's why it's like when I saw that comedian actor, I'm like it kind of looks familiar, but it doesn't because I have seen it before. Whoo! In my opinion, these are way too hard for a movie I've seen once, maybe fucking 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
These are popular movies, man.
Oh man, but I think you got to be certain I've seen it a lot, dude. Oh, dude, no. I mean that counts. I've technically seen it, but I feel like those are a little hard for what it is.
Well, sorry, dude. Jesus,
I don't even remember what the first one's about.
How do you not like Bad Boys? Dude?
I've seen
Lawrence and Will Smith are awesome. They're so funny in it, man.
I don't think it's funny. Well, at least back in the day, I didn't laugh once. And then the second one is bad, dude. I did not.
Yeah, the second one's terrible. I didn't like the second one either.
I watched the third one in the theaters, and that one was.
I didn't even know there was a third one.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life, dude. The one that came out like 3 years ago.
I never saw that.
It was fine. It was all right. I think it takes. Aren't they all in Miami? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one, you'll be able to get it. I have 4 sides on this.
God willing, dude. Jeez.
This one's easy, dude.
Did anybody in the chat get Bad Boys?
No, Mutineer was lost. He said.
I feel like had you known I'd seen that once like 2 decades ago, maybe would have went with some. You don't necessarily have to show Will Smith, but I don't know. Go ahead.
Name that Kino.
Oh, it's Private Parts, dude.
Yeah, you got it.
Mom, like, he's like, we're part Negro. We're part Negro. That was in that scene in that car.
Would you have got on that one?
Yeah, I would have gotten all of them. That's the porn star. He's in the tub with her.
You got that one.
Howard. I love Private Parts, dude.
It was great, dude.
The only downside to Private Parts is to me it could have went harder. Because it was tame compared to his show at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was still R-rated, like, but it honestly felt like a soft R or even like a heavy PG-13 today.
Yeah,
It
it
just
did.
feels it's Ivan Reitman produced, and I because she shows her tits, so
Yeah, yeah,
there's little things like that there where it keeps it R rated. But dude, it's such a fun movie,
it is.
and I don't know, man. The fact that he never did another movie is baffling to me, and he played himself so well. It's just kind of crazy that he started as himself in his own biopic. It's still crazy to think.
Well, and the fact that he used to be so funny and now he's like, God, he's not funny at all. It's
I'm not
ridiculous.
Look. I don't blame anybody for getting older and changing, but it's time for him to hang it up.
Yeah,
I get it. He's mellowed out. He's old. People change their stance on stuff. He's a bleeding heart liberal.
yeah.
He used to make fun. He used to have the whack pack on. Now now he's like a hardcore. I'm not saying this stuff's bad, but he's like hardcore feminist. He's very politically correct now. It's just
It
he's
just means it's not funny anymore. That's all it
yeah, he
means.
transformed himself into a really good interviewer. Now he's like, I just want to be like Larry King, and I want to give like really good interviews to A-list stars. And when the show, people talk about the '90s show, the E show, but I think honestly, when he first went to Sirius, it was peaking. Like that first few years before Artie Lang went off the show, all
Yeah.
the way up until like 2011, 2012, the show was
Well, because he was doing both. I mean, he was doing the interviews and he was doing the whack pack stuff.
well, he always did interviews on the radio show, but
Yeah.
like he would interview people off the streets. He would every now and again he'd get like an A-lister like Arnold, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't do his show because he asked the hard, difficult questions. Like he'd probe into their personal life. But he
Yeah.
would also interview like porn stars. He would interview like Danny Bonaducci. And he was just now he's just only he's I'm just gonna interview like Robert
As an
Downey Jr.
agenda. Yeah.
No, he's just I'm interviewing AAA movie stars only. Like,
And they give you nothing anymore. Like, they don't give you any
he asks
juice.
softball questions. None of them. I think he's a good interviewer, but he's asking the softball stuff. He's not asking the juicy stuff anymore. So, but whatever. If he's not capable of doing the shock jock stuff, I mean, the old Howard's always going to be there. I always watch those old shows, dude, and I don't hold it against him for getting old. I guess is what I'm saying because it happens.
No, Howard
But
Stern, Opie, and Anthony were like staples. I loved those shows, man. They were so funny, and don't nobody will ever, live up to
I
those.
I think he peaked. I think he was peaking at when he was on Sirius before Artie left. Artie was way funnier than Jackie the Joke Man.
Oh yeah,
It was funny how they would shit on Jackie the Joke Man. He was like the punching bag. That was
Mhm.
always funny. But like they had a mutual respect for Artie, and Artie was so funny. He was the best storyteller, and the way he was like a bully. He's like a high school bully. The way he would go in on some of these whack packers and just so fun. Like high pitched
Eric,
Mike.
Eric
Dude.
the yeah, high pitch Eric, dude, and Eric the actor, dude.
Oh yeah, they're so funny. And
Oh,
when he went off the show, well, when he like had this meltdown and stabbed himself and had to get like committed for a while and go to
who?
rehab. Artie.
Oh, Artie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So when he went off the show, I mean, Howard kind of used that opportunity, like let's not because they always had a comedian. Jackie the Joke Man was the comedian, the
Yeah.
head comedy, right? And then he was replaced by Artie when he left, and they just decided instead of replacing Artie, having the comedian on there, let's just use this opportunity to fucking change format because they needed fucking a comedian there. I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
Artie Lang. First of all, he doesn't give anybody any real, even okay. So everybody makes jokes now because ever since the lockdown stuff, he never came back in the office. He's become like a total like germ. He was always kind of a germaphobe, but he during the lockdown he started broadcasting from his basement. Just like us, he got a podcast set up. Really way better than us, obviously. But they started doing everything through like Zoom, and lockdown ended, and he never came back. And
He's still not. He's still
nope.
not in the studio.
He's been
Oh
at
my
home in his
God.
basement. He's got a basement like studio in his basement of his house in the Hamptons.
That's
So
ridiculous.
so now the people that come like when he gets like Robert Downey Jr. or Metallica or whatever, they still go into a serious studio like in New York City, but you're talking to Howard on a screen.
Oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me?
And everybody he's talking to, like the Richards and stuff like that, if they're on Zoom. It's just not the same.
That is ridiculous,
But
man.
even before the lockdowns happened, he had already switched this format before lockdowns happened. And when they were in the studio, he had completely changed the show. First of all, Fred had a wall put over him, so now Fred was literally just the soundboard guy. He was never like, you couldn't see his face anymore.
Huh.
And he never really talked to him. He just got like, he wasn't a part of the show. And, Robin was there and Howard was there, but you no longer had Sal or Richard coming in and doing antics anymore. They actually never came in at all. And then he started bringing in a couple of like new wiener like fucking kids that are just not funny. Like Mehmet is not funny. These fucking and he started basing so much of the stories they tell on like these stupid new characters who are not funny. These stupid like 20 something. I don't know. It's just
So
it's
is
just
the Whack Pack? They're not on there anymore?
well, the Whack Pack has been slowly dying off for the last 10 years. Like literally dying off. I mean,
Because I think
so
Eric the actor died. Did
Eric the
Beetlejuice die?
Eric the actor died. Jeff the drunk died. Hank the angry dwarf died.
Oh, he
No,
did.
so and then High Pitch Eric retired. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Like he retired and moved. And then no, I think Beetlejuice is still around. And
Oh, okay.
I think he still maybe pops in every now and again. But it's just they're phasing out. Like he's not replacing them with new ones. Some, the few that are around, like he'll let them come in. But it's just not the same show anymore. But it's all right, man. It just happens. It is what it is.
It was such a great show back in the day, man. I loved it.
Revolutionary. And Artie Lang, when he went off that show, and when the formats changed when he left, I think there was a little bit of bitterness at the time, but he was basically saying, there was a little bit of shit talking. I think now he doesn't do that anymore, and but they don't talk to him anymore. But he says, like, Howard, he just became the enemy. He became
Yeah.
exactly the stuff he was going up against in the PMRC and the ratings. He's like, he said everything we're saying right now. He's like, he didn't used to give a fuck about Hollywood and all that
Yeah.
shit and the celebrities. And now that's all he'll have on his show. And he's just now he's hanging out with Jimmy Kimmel and flying out. He was doing like the talent show. It's just
Yeah.
he's just become Mr. Hollywood, and he's rubbing up. He's going out the fancy. He's just that guy now, the guy that he always went up against and he would never be. And he was going up against like he says it all happened when he got a new not showrunner. He said like there was this new woman in his life that it was almost like culty. He's like, he's got this new woman in his life that's become like his guru.
Beth?
And no, not Beth. A woman
okay.
that's almost like not a personal assistant, but like his vizier, his advisor.
Oh
This
my
person
God.
that just latched onto him. And she has just polluted him. He said he's warped his entire mind. It's like now he's like super feminist, and it's just he won't say the R word anymore. He won't be edgy. He's very politically correct, and it's all because of this person that came on the show. She's always whispering in his ear, and he said, what did he say? He said, he's like, we used to fucking make fun of Ellen, for example. And now he comes on the show and he talks about, did you catch last night's Ellen? I love how she dances. That's my favorite part, is when she dances on the show. And it's like, what? That's what Artie's saying. He's like, the fucking Ellen dancing? Like, this is what's happening to him. So I think it's probably a mixture of his wife and whoever this I can't remember what her name is. And she's not even anything. She's like just somebody that slithered into his life and got such an influence on him. And now he's like, she's always around him.
Probably a shrink or something.
She came from somewhere. Oh, Ralph Sorella just died. So it's like all these people are
really?
dying off. Yeah. So I don't know, man. But like I said, people get older. It happens. Nothing stays. I guess for me, if I want to be selfish, it would have been preferable for him to not renew his contract. Like because he's always like, dude, for like 20 years, he's been talking about not renewing his contract when it comes back up. And they always have like the specials, like everybody finds out, am I choosing to sign a new contract? Because everybody's job relies on what Howard wants to do.
Yeah.
And he kept signing. And I think he just shouldn't have renewed after that, after Artie left. That would have been the best if he just sort of rode off in the sunset and do whatever you want after that. Just like preserve the show, man. But
well, how is Sirius still a thing? I mean, honestly,
I don't
people
know.
still
Well,
listen to that.
when Sirius when
It was
Sirius,
awesome when it first came out.
yeah, and then that was when he did that mammoth move to Sirius and out of Terrestrial. It was like this whole thing of like, hey, we don't have, because he was all, it was, they were getting fined left and right. He was getting fined constantly, and pissing off the radio stations. And so the move to Sirius was the biggest fu. It's like, we can do whatever we want now, nothing's
Yeah.
stopping us. And because this is the shock jock, and they did all throughout the Artie years, they were doing it, dude. Like they were
Mhm.
going hard, and it was really cool. But then after that, it's like, now they're tame, and it's just like they could do anything they want. So it's like, they don't want to do it. Now they keep it super clean. Now his show could be on more. It could be like The View. I mean, it's just,
Ugh.
yeah, it's just really really wild. But no more riding the Sibian, dude. I've had
Yeah, that was so great, man.
I've had a handful of trials that I've gone back to Sirius. Like, they'll throw you like 3 months free, like every couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'll get on, I'll try and listen to a Howard episode. It's hard. I can't. The stuff they talk about is just fucking mind numb, paint dry stuff. I'm like, this is what your lives are now? And they don't have their characters on anymore to add to it. And it's just, I don't know. It's over. But
Always good memories growing up in high school, walking in the house hammered, and my stepdad sitting in his chair naked, smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, watching
Watching-
Howard Stern on E.
oh, dude, what do you think he
Oh,
was doing? What was he
My
up to?
my mom was sleeping in the other room, but it was funny. He's like, "What's going on, man?" I down there. He's sitting there naked, and I sit down and watch some Howard Stern with him, and I go back down.
Why he's naked, dude? That's funny,
Yeah.
dude. Why are you touching yourself? No, dude, that E show is so good to watch. Like back in the old days in the
Oh, yeah.
'90s, like in the basement, dude. Like, because that would have been taboo in the house, even though it's like censored and stuff. It was raunchy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's close this out. Let's go ahead and get into the segments. Yeah, let's just do a few or a couple because I don't want it to go too long. But basically, I asked Todd to come up with a handful of things, preferably mixing it up between movies, shows, games, what have you not. Just things he likes. And if he could, they can be things that are sort of universally heralded. That's fine. But if you have some stuff that's maybe not, that's going to make it more exciting, just stuff that you like. And basically, I think this could be a fun segment. We could maybe.
Well, I
do
thought
down
you
the
wanted
line.
from the 80s.
Oh,
I
for
thought
the
that was the
80s.
thing.
No, from the 80s. That's, I did it from the 80s. Just because if we want to keep doing this, I want to leave room to grow. The 90s will be too easy. Anyway, so I would like to call this timeless or time, place, and circumstance. What I mean by that is we have a lot of stuff that we love.
Well,
And-
you
and
didn't say it had to be obscure, though. I
No,
thought
no,
it was
no.
stuff. Okay.
I said you can totally do
Okay.
stuff that's like universally loved. That's
Okay.
fine. But try and get some stuff that's maybe not that you just love. Like don't just make sure. So anyway, timelessness or time, place, circumstance. Let me give you I'll start to kind of give you an idea. And so do you have all movies or what do you have?
No, I have two vinyls and 2 movies.
Okay. So just for time's sake, let's do we'll start with a movie and then do a record. And if we have time, we'll just flip flop. So I'm gonna start with a record. So maybe you want to do the same, but to give you an example of how the show works, I'm gonna keep it simple. Metallica, Master of Puppets, right? So let me explain what I mean by this. In my opinion, Master of Puppets is timeless. And this is what I'm gauging it on. Whatever it is you're talking about, are the kids today going to listen to it and understand it and like it? And so for Master of Puppets, they've already proven that they are pretty timeless and that their kids, obviously Master of Puppets kids are listening to that now with, TikTok and all that bullshit BS. But also, just you listen to that record, you could even argue Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. They have like that datedness in the production,
They do,
right?
yeah.
Which I love. I
Mhm.
fucking love. I love Ride the Lightning's my favorite.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's got that reverby thing that was real big. But Master of Puppets, that to me, that sounds like somebody could put that out today because the production is so tight and so crisp. but yet not too glossy. It's just absolutely perfect. I could absolutely see any band today trying to chase that mix, that sound, and I think it's absolutely timeless. Everything about it. Now, to give you an example, that was my first one. You take an album like Load. I love Load. I'm an apologist for Load. I love it. I've got a lot of memories. But the thing about Load is people talk about how much it sucks. This is the ultimate example of time, place, circumstance, because the people that hate Load are the people that were 80s Metallica fans, right? That were around for, Puppets and even
Yeah.
Black Album. And then all of a sudden, 10 years into you loving this band, or 13 years, they come out with Load. It was probably super jarring. Time, place, and circumstance. You had to have been there. But for me, I'm a 90s kid. So it's like I kind of grew up listening to in the household Puppets and Justice and Black Album. But I was 10 years old, 11 years old when Load and Reload came out. So for me, those are the songs that were all over MTV. And I don't get what's so offensive about it to some of the older people. So I'm just a product of the time for me. But that's kind of how I'm trying to like gauge it. But what's your thoughts on Master of Puppets? Would you agree, disagree? Why, if not, either way?
I love Master of Puppets, like you were saying, Ride the Lightning. Between that, Ride the Lightning are my two favorites.
But as far as
I
Puppets, though, is it timeless or is it more? It wouldn't translate today, and I just love it. But it's not
I'm
going to
to
translate.
I'm totally with you. I think it translates. I think that's the one that translates the most between that and Justice, and yeah, it's Master of Puppets. Because I
Well,
mean, you see that stuff. You see Master of Puppets is on what's that show? I mean,
Stranger
not too
Things,
long.
yeah.
Stranger Things. I mean, kids are starting to eat it up again, which is great.
But I mean, like, even if it wasn't, pop culture and stuff like that, I think there's bands out here I think that would kill for that mix and kill for that sound. It sounds so fresh. Now, Justice for All, I could even argue you could make a case for Justice for All too, because it's got this weird like imperfect production. Everybody talks about no bass and how cold it sounds with the guitars, kind of a weird tinny sound. But I kind of love it in its own weird way. But that album inspired so many bands, like all the thrash bands and underground bands after that. They all started doing the same things. They were scooping all their mids out of their amp. That's that like sound of that guitar is the scoop mids. They took all the bass and high end out, and it's just scoop mid. It's really weird, and it influenced a bunch of sounds in the underground, which is odd. But I mean, yeah, Puppets is the one. Okay, so you get it. So what's your record? Pick one record.
So this one was a staple for me growing up. My family played it all the time. Um, it's a timeless record. I think it's the same way, um, front to back. I don't know if he's starting to come back or not, but I hope he does. Um, and of course, it's Michael Jackson's "Bad." I mean, this record from the '80s is fantastic. I mean, you have "Bad," "The Way You Make Me Feel," you have Dirty Diana, "Smooth Criminal," "Man in the Mirror," which is probably one of the greatest songs ever written. Um, I everything about this album I love. It's fantastic. It's Michael's peak. Thriller. People love Thriller. I love Thriller too. I actually think Bad's a better album than Thriller, and I do love Dangerous as well. But overall, I think Bad's probably his best.
So I don't know. Michael Jackson, maybe he gets a pass because he's on his own island, but I kind of think those big all the Michael Jackson solo records are all products of their era. If you ask me, Off the Wall is very much a product of disco and Motown. Thriller to me is the one. If I had to pick any of them that are kind of like timeless, it's Thriller, just because that's the one where everything got thrown to the kitchen sink. He was rock and roll, he was R&B, like he had cred everywhere because they literally do everything on that record. Every genre is almost tapped into. But then, Bad. Like I said, Michael Jackson kind of surpasses, I guess, because he's so big. Like those records are going to be listened to for decades. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it sounds like outlaw country from the '60s. It's Michael Jackson. But I don't know. If you were talking about Dangerous, for example, I would have maybe fought you a little bit more on that because it actually goes into my next one. I'm just going to roll into it. Similar. So another record, just to kind of flip flop it, that I love, that it was my first album I ever owned, my first cassette tape. Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. Love it. Is it dated? Fuck yes. Is it timeless? No. See, Bobby Brown, he popularized the genre subgenre called New Jack Swing. New Jack Swing was so a product of the late 80s into 1990, and that's what Michael Jackson's Dangerous was ripping off, right? He wanted to
Yeah.
tap into the New Jack Swing sound. And it's just so, I mean, I know you're not talking about Dangerous, but think about it, dude. It's got like Heavy D on there. You got the videos with Michael Jordan.
It's fantastic.
It's
I love
great.
Dangerous.
But
Yeah.
I love Dangerous, but it's a product of the sound at the time. But yeah, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. You hear My Prerogative or Every Little Step You Take, or even on like, his follow up record, you hear Roni. Dude, you hear those fucking songs. First of all, they're great, but they take you right back to that era. It's just it's they had those synthesizers. They were a weird R&B, but they mixed in like hip hop, because they would always have like that midsection where he's like kind of rapping but not really good. And then if I play Don't Be Cruel for a kid today, are they going to like it? Probably not. I think it's pretty far removed from the hip hop R&B today. It sounds nothing like Drake. It's not the mumble rap stuff. Now it's like Drake. You hear Drake and everything's kind of got that same syncopation when they're rapping, and I just feel like Master of Puppets is not far removed. I feel like they've come full circle, and these bands are chasing Master of Puppets, and there's bands like that. I think we are far away from Bobby Brown. So I think that would be time, place, circumstance. It would not hold up today, as much as I love it.
Yeah, and I never really got into Bobby Brown, but I do respect it. And I remember you were saying you're a huge Bobby Brown guy, and yeah,
It's just nostalgia. It's that first. I love the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, On Our Own. He had the song, and he had the New Edition tracks on there too, because New Edition was part of that. And it's okay. Prime example. Okay, so you could spin it any way you want. Okay, if I give a kid Master of Puppets today, is he gonna like it? Let's flip it. If I never heard Metallica in my life and I heard Master of Puppets today for the first time, would I like it? I'd incline to think I would. Now, if I did not have the nostalgic association with Don't Be Cruel, Bobby Brown, would I like it today? Probably not. I'll be the first to admit it. It's all nostalgia. I probably wouldn't give it the time of day. Let's put it that way too.
yeah.
So anyway, I tried to do polar opposite. Well, what's your other album, since we're knock that out?
So my other album.
Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I'm saying we could definitely, but you've only got 4, so we can get through these. We're going pretty fast.
Okay. So you might think this album sucks, or you're not really into him, but I don't know. There's something about this guy.
Lee Greenwood. What is it? Oh, go ahead.
I do like Lee Greenwood, but no, this artist, there's something about it. He's the total opposite of Lee Greenwood. He's not yeah. Okay, so this artist is adult contemporary type.
Oh, Bolton?
No, even better. Richard Marx.
Oh, I know you love Richard Marx.
Repeat offender, dude. This is a fantastic album.
Okay.
I mean, you have Angelina, you have Right Here Waiting.
I love those songs
line,
too. I'm
Satisfied. It's fantastic for the time.
I'm very curious on which way you're going with this, though. I know you love it. I enjoy it too. But where are you going with it?
It's a staple of the 80s. When I think of the 80s, I think of Richard Marx. I think of Richard Marx albums, and this album is fantastic. So if you want to sit back, crack a Zima or whatever you do in the 80s and fucking relax and watch or listen to an album, listen to Richard Marx.
He was
Repeat offender.
The tent pole of
look at him, dude.
Yeah,
He's
the
a
tent
stud,
pole,
dude.
He was the tent pole of that style of like pop adult contemporary being so popular. Because think about all the other people that chase that sound, between like John Waite, Corey Hart, even maybe guys like that. It was the epitome. So where are you at? Are you at timeless, or are you at time, place, circumstance?
Oh, it's time, place, circumstance. I mean,
Okay,
it's
okay. I was
yeah,
waiting for it. I'm like, dude, I'm sweating. Like, if you say
yeah.
that's timeless, it
It's
doesn't mean it's not good. Like, we love it, but
no,
it's like it's just
it's totally 80s, but it brings me back. It's what I flip on the record and I go back to the 80s. So
yeah, no, exactly with Bobby Brown, 100%, dude. You go back to 1988. Yeah, no, I feel you.
what year did this come out in? 87, I think.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip it a little bit. See, I had a lot, dude. But I'm up. I'm gonna knock out. I'll narrow it down to a couple of games, but I can say it in one. So I know you don't have games, so I'll kind of do mine, and you can chime in. So keeping it pretty vanilla because this is the first time we're doing it. But I'm gonna take a game like Super Mario Brothers 3, right? Timeless. Why is it timeless? Because they basically perfected it. This and Mario World. Actually, I'd say they got
Was
even
that
better with.
80s? That was 90s,
Oh,
dude.
that was 90. Ooh, you know
Yeah.
what though? Hold on, hold on. Was Mario 3 released in Japan in 89 though?
It
Let's
was
see.
93, wasn't it? Or 92?
No. US was 90. But let me see when it was
Oh, it
released in
was.
Japan. But that's okay. I could change it. I've got other ones, but I'm very curious. Okay, it was released everywhere else in the 80s. It was released in Japan in 88. It was released in parts of North America in 89 and in here in 90. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just kind of give myself some slack with this one because technically, but regardless, you could make an argument for I don't want to say Mario 1 because I think they did perfect it with 3, but let's just say 3 anyway. I don't care. The reason why I would say this is timeless is they mastered the platformer. Besides Mario World, it really never got better than this in Mario World. It didn't. That's why these games are so fun today. And I feel like any kid that picked up Mario 3 is going to have a blast. It's responsive, the commands, the platforming, the world exploring, it's just the hidden stuff. It just they peaked so early with it. And I don't think they really ever really got it any better. Maybe they added on to it, but they didn't have to tweak. Whereas like the original Mario Brothers, okay, it's timeless in its own way, but it, it's not as tight as Mario 3, right? It was sort of proto. It was kind of like where they were going, but on another hand, what's your opinion on Mario 3 before I kind of give a flip side?
Mario 3 is amazing. You know what? When it came out, I thought it was the best.
Mario World's the best.
Mario World is probably the best, but Mario 3 is up there. I can hear an argument of going with Mario 3 over Mario World.
It's still timeless on its own though because
Yeah.
it's still it's maybe what everybody would think Mario is when you think of Mario.
Yeah.
It's very, but a Mario World, dude. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Mario World is a flawless game too, and it's super. Nothing. They never did anything better than Mario World. It's just so timeless. But this might make some people angry. But on the other side, I'm gonna say Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda. Love it. Great classic game. But
It is.
unlike Mario 3, were they there yet? No. Like would a kid in a world of Breath of the Wild or even Link to the Past, which to me is timeless. The Super Nintendo Link to the Past, it's so good. It's just it could be played today. But the original Legend of Zelda is kind of like Mario 1 to Mario 3, where I don't see a kid picking it up today. In the world of Minecraft and all the stuff that they have, they wouldn't like it. And it's so obscure. Like those things they were just nothing but stuff to sell Nintendo Power to you because they had stuff that was so cryptic in those games. The only way you could beat it is if you bought Nintendo Power, and we'll tell you the secrets. Like you couldn't figure it out on your own. Now everybody knows this stuff, because we've just played it. It's just part of the pop culture ether now. But you could say the same thing for like Castlevania 2, right? Just the random shit that's in this game that you had to buy their stupid magazine to figure it out. The stuff's too hard. Stuff's too easy today, right? Back in the day, games were tough, really tough, and I just don't think today's generation could take it. I mean, when you Super Nintendo corrected that because Super Nintendo was more about balancing. That's why it's like Mario World is so balanced. It's so much fun. It never gets too frustrating. Uh, it's always moving forward. Link to the Past, same thing. It's extremely fair, right? It's not punishing for the sake of being punishing, and it's not broken. When you take a thing like Legend of Zelda, and you have to know where to burn a random tree in the middle of the woods to find the secret the next dungeon you got to go to. It's like when nobody fucking tells you anything. It's just like that's not balanced and that's not cool. Same thing with those old Mega Man games, man. I know the old Mega Man's awesome, but I feel like there's maybe a problem with a game that you absolutely can't get good at to the point where like it's impossible to I think it's probably impossible to beat any classic Mega Man level without taking damage. I think you should be able to get better at a game and be able to avoid that stuff if you get really good. But Mega Man's like, no, you're going to take damage. Fucking, it's just, can you beat it before you die? Whereas I think a game like Mega Man X that came out in the Super Nintendo, they taper the difficulty. It's way more balanced. It's not too hard to where it's not fun anymore. And you can be so good to where you can not take damage. So I'm going to say Zelda, the original, is very much of the time. It's a classic. It's kind of what started it all, but your kids are probably not going to like the original Legend of Zelda, Todd. That's what I'm saying.
No, speaking of timeless 80s, that leads on to my next one. So I have one that's timeless and one that's a product of the 80s. So timeless one is probably the greatest, one of the greatest. Well, it's the greatest slasher franchise ever. Of course, Friday the 13th. Timeless. Everybody knows Friday the 13th.
They're still ripping it off today.
People still watch it. People still talk about Friday the 13th. I think it's fantastic still. I love the original. Man, I could pop this in anytime. My kids will probably watch this pretty soon.
There's definitely a difference between, because obviously if you look at the aesthetic, it's very much of the era, but that's not the same. I know what you're saying. So it can be like 70s or 80s looking, but yeah, it's how relevant is a movie like that to today, and they're still ripping it off. People are still ripping off the whole series, and it's still kind of the tentpole. It's still the thing that everybody goes back to as a reference point. So yeah, no, I'd concur with that. Mutineer, Mario World was too easy. I don't think so. Is it too easy, or if you just played it so much like you know it like the back of your hand, like I do?
I sucked at it. So
no, it feels easy to me, but it's just because I know it so dang well. But I tell you what, though, as soon as you get to the bonus world, it's just like they spike up the difficulty, which I even know the bonus world in that game so well to where it's not that hard. But Mario always did that. Like even the newer games, it's like they're pretty easy, I think, the new games. But then once you get to those bonus levels after you beat the game, the bonus worlds, they just go from like 1 to 300, man. Mario Odyssey, dude. I think that's such a great game. It's so much fun. It's not too difficult, but I want to relax. I kind of want to be able to explore and collect stuff and not stress on difficulty too much. But dude, I could not play the bonus worlds in that game because they just literally went from 1 to 100. And that's
I wasn't a fan of Odyssey. My kids love it, but I never really got into it.
I like Odyssey. And you know what? That shit is there if you want to get punished, but I'm glad that it doesn't have to be. It's all end game stuff, but I love Odyssey. You're crazy, man.
It's fine, but I don't know. I like the 2D Mario.
I'm over it. I feel like they've already done the best 2D Marios, and they're never going to top the classic 2D Marios. That's my opinion. So it's just like I played Mario Wonder a little bit, and it's fun, but I got to go back to it. It just wasn't great. Everybody's talking about how amazing it was, and it's cool, but I don't know. It's never going to be as good as Mario World. I just don't think. Whereas like Mario 64 was great, but it shows its age, and like
why didn't they do a remaster of Mario 64?
I think they should have remade it with the hardware. I think they should have remade it.
That would have been awesome.
Because they hate money, I guess. But Anyway, so what's your other one that you would say is not
It's not
timeless?
not timeless, but it's a product of the 80s. And when I think of the 80s, I think of this movie because it just screams
Revenge
80s.
of the Nerds? Oh,
No, The Running Man.
really?
Yeah, the whole look and everything with Arnold. When I think of the 80s, I think of The Running Man. I don't know why, but God, dude.
Oh yeah,
I
Richard Dawson. He's
yeah,
a plant of the '80s.
it just screams the 80s, dude. And I love The Running Man. It's great. It's a great movie.
Dude, you got Jesse
But
Ventura. You got all these
yep.
'80s guys in there. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a great film. I love it, but it's definitely not timeless. I know that.
I feel like the property could be remade into modern though, because it's just it's just going off a book. I feel like it could be
Yeah.
modernized, but yeah, that particular movie, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if a kid would like it today or not. I almost wanted to talk about Terminator but I didn't bring up Terminator because I think Terminator, as much as I love Terminator, and I was on the fence with a movie like Terminator because on one hand, there's people that are still chasing Terminator. They can never do that type of movie, the futuristic thing like Terminator. There's so many people that
Yeah.
have ripped it off. It's almost the time travel thing has almost become its own genre, but at the same time, it's incredibly dated to the 80s. So if I had to I would lean to time, place, circumstance, and I would say T2 is more timeless. It's
Yeah.
like, anybody can watch T2 because T2 holds up.
It still looks great. Yeah.
The visuals hold up. Everything about it's like fuck yeah. I feel like anybody would like it today. T1 I can't quite say the same about, but yeah, Running Man, I would say you're right on that. Okay, so on that note, I'm gonna do my last one, and I'm just gonna do both my movies. So for a movie that is not timeless, I grew up watching it, and you could throw a few movies that are kind of with this in here, but I'm doing Stripes.
Oh, that's
Right?
a great movie. Yeah.
I love Stripes, and you could even throw Caddyshack in there. And,
Caddyshack. Yeah.
but the thing is kids don't like this humor anymore. This is, you could even argue that it wasn't even our generation's humor. It was like your dad's humor, right?
Well, that's why you didn't like Animal House, right? I love Animal House.
Yeah, Animal House. Oh, Animal House, you throw it in there too. Animal House, I never grew up watching it, so yeah, it didn't hit for me because I'm like, yeah, it's this real dated humor. Maybe it'd be different if I grew up with it, but I didn't. But Stripes is the same kind of humor, right? Are you two men homosexual? No, but we're willing to learn.
I should have
it's
picked
just-
Revenge of the Nerds because that would have been on there too.
Well, that's why I told you.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds is totally 80s. There's nothing timeless
Yeah.
about Revenge of the Nerds. Everything to the politically correctness that wouldn't fly today. I mean, Lewis basically grapes that girl.
Yeah.
So,
Lamar Lutrell.
but yeah, Stripes is, I love it, but it's totally dated humor. That's also kind of how I feel about. Now, I'm not trying to trigger you because I love MASH, but MASH is your dad and grandpa's humor. It's not. It's all about, can you show this to your kids and maybe like somebody's grandkids today, and they're not going to like it. Most people are not going to like it. It's not going to resonate.
I don't know, man.
Most.
Yeah.
I
Well, because I'm not a product. Like I was a '90s kid, but I grew up watching in syndication, so
but we're
you
getting
wouldn't think I would like it though.
But we're getting further and further removed from that, though.
Yeah,
I just think we're getting further and further from that because, when we're watching MASH in the early '90s, our parents are watching it, so that's an influence. So the kids today have parents our age, which are gonna have less and less and less of us who are watching MASH today, and I just think we're getting further and further away from it. In the '90s when we're watching MASH, we're still growing up with some movies we're growing up with Stripes. Like I remember watching Stripes in like 1992 on television. I'm like, okay, it's like those are the movies that were on TV at the time. They weren't playing T2 and shit on TV. Right, we're still watching the stuff we're consuming at home with stuff of the early '80s or So I don't know. I just think the further we get from it,
and
it affects it.
maybe the first two seasons, because the first two seasons were pretty raunchy of MASH, and then they kind of went tame after Trapper left. But yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
Mutineer says most don't have the attention span for comedy like that because it's not like 15-second TikToks with people dancing, dude. It's just.
I don't even have TikTok, dude.
No, it's just. I have to hear it all the time. Eva's always on TikTok. Always. Always. In bed, always. It's just always. It's just always so and believe me, she shows me stuff all the time, and she made me a TikTok so she could send me videos. So I am not on TikTok, but technically I have a TikTok because she made me one, and she put it on my phone so she could send me stuff during the day, and I never watch it. She's like, "Did you watch the videos I sent you?" I'm like, "No, you did." And
that's what my old lady does too.
and she'll make me pull them up, watch them now, and I'll like have like 4 or 5 stacked.
You're like,
and I have to,
yeah,
and I have to watch them all.
and they're not even fun. They're not even funny, but yeah,
Most of them are not. But
yeah, I'm with you on that,
dude. It's just I don't. It's just going over my head. I'm not saying somebody's right or wrong for like. It's just the times. But anyway, so yeah, Stripes. I just don't. I would even argue. You know what movie belongs with all those two, but it technically gets a pass? Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Okay, because now Ghostbusters is timeless because it created a franchise off 2 movies. Like how they created this giant franchise off like 2 fucking movies. It blows me away. They've really milked it. But it's got the ghosts and all that stuff and the franchising and the toys and all that stuff going for it that's kept it alive. But it's got the same type of humor as like Stripes and that Bill Murray the Dan Aykroyd humor, which I love. But like I think kids can still love Ghostbusters today. I don't know if it's because of the humor so much. I think it's because of Slimer and all the stuff. And but yeah, so a movie from the 80s, the other side of the coin, that's extremely timeless, that looks incredible by today's standards, absolutely looks amazing by today's standards. And I don't know why anybody wouldn't still love this, young or old. Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
It's super timeless.
Yeah,
And that's a good example. It's like, obviously it's a movie that's set in the 80s and he goes back into the 50s. So it's not about the period. You know, you got Van Halen references, you got Darth Vader, of the time, but dude, it looks phenomenal. And once again, I think this is a movie studios are still chasing. They're still doing the time travel thing. They're trying to to me it's the quintessential blockbuster.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted. Like I've never like professed to be, I'm a diehard Back to the Future fan. No, because I just always took it for granted because it's like, that movie that's on all the time. Because it's like you can watch it all. It was always on TBS. It was always on Syndicate. You take it for granted because it's there. It's mass quantities. It's never gonna fucking be dead. We're always gonna find it. You're never gonna don't have to worry about archiving that one. But if you sit and watch it, you realize, well, every time I've watched this movie, I'm absolutely in it. And
it's totally rewatchable. My brother that's his number one thing is Back to the Future. He buys everything Back to the Future. He's obsessed. So I totally get it, man. It's some people love it like that much, which
but
I totally get.
You know what I mean by those movies that you take for granted? That's just I take it for granted. Like,
I do too.
I
like
never
it a lot, but
I never even think about it. It's like I don't claim to be this giant like Back to the Future stan. I don't collect Back to the Future stuff. I don't. But you know what? If you ask me, it's like, I guess it is a 10 out of 10. How could you not give it a 10 out of 10? It's just so fucking good. You just take it for granted. And there's other movies like that. Another movie that I feel like people just take for granted because it's always been on TV nonstop since we've grown up. You kind of forget how good it is. Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is a 10 out of 10. And it's like every time you watch it, it's so much fun. But you never go back to it because it's so...
You've seen it a million times.
It's just out there. It's just it's not special. It's just everybody has seen it. So it's not like, we love Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. We're always going to find people who have never seen that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it makes you pass it off because it's like Wayne said, when he when Cassandra had a copy of Frampton Comes Alive. He's like, you heard it? He's like, heard it. He's like, they used to issue copies of this in the suburbs free with samples of Tide. Like, I've heard it. Like, it's like that where it's like just everybody got issued Back to the Future and Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It's not exciting. You're not going to go talk to people about Beetlejuice and Back to the Future because we know.
I just saw Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. But no. So I think that's a good. Did you have any more? Or was that it?
No, that was it for me.
I'm excited for Beetlejuice too, though. Now I'm starting to get pumped for it. I have high hopes. I'm getting cautiously optimistic for it. I'm cautiously optimistic.
You're crazy, man.
I never would have been, but the casting I think is great, and hopefully it's truthful. But I'm going off their word that they're making it just like they did in the '80s, where they're using practical. They're using fish line. to fucking wheel bodies through and ghosts. They're and I'm not expecting claymation, but I hope they're stop motion fucking claymation. But if they're really trying, because that's the only way they're gonna like keep that spirit. So I'm cautiously optimistic, and Willem Dafoe as like a ghost detective, like from the Netherworld, is it sounds funny to me.
You know what? That's probably the best part of the movie. It sounds like the best part of the movie right there.
What, Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe being in that. That's a smart move there. But
Willem Dafoe, he plays like kind of like the equivalent of an FBI agent in the spirit world. And so I don't know if he's going to be looking for Beetlejuice. I don't know what the fuck, but I love that. And he had already leaked information about his character. I guess he wasn't supposed to. He's like, yeah, I play a guy that used to be a B action star back in his lifetime, and so he's kind of got that aura. But now I work as like a like an agent. It sounds so zany. I'm like I as long as it's not a CGI fest and they are truthful and that they're going practical. If they really are, man.
Tim Burton will fuck it up. I mean,
well, you know what?
Jen Ortega is not going to help the movie either.
The only if you like Jen Ortega's movies, man, you love X, dude. She's in movies you like.
She's in movies I like. I don't like her as an actress.
So who cares? This might be a movie you like. You just have to accept that she's like one of the it girls, just like Winona Ryder was popular back then. It just is. But I've seen the set photos and the attention to detail. Like literally, Winona Ryder looks just like Lydia. Dude, it's crazy. She's like a middle-aged Lydia. And she never. And they rebuilt the house. They rebuilt the same house in the same spot because it wasn't around anymore. They rebuilt it, and it's just they're putting in so much effort. And like I said, I was always scared that it just wouldn't have the same magic because Beetlejuice pretty much exists in this pocket in the late 80s. The stop motion, it's just we could never recapture that. So if they're making a conscious attempt to do it, I'm here for it. I'll see. Now, yeah, Tim Burton has had a really shitty streak in the last 20 years because he became a Disney shill. But now he's anti-Disney. He's separated with Disney. He does nothing but shit talk him anymore because they were just controlling. So it kind of sounds like he's going rogue a little bit. So maybe with Disney no longer being a part of the equation and pulling those strings and causing, maybe they were a huge part of it. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's all I'm going to say.
So the guy who wrote it is the same guy who wrote a lot of the Wednesday episodes in Smallville.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't
Shanghai Nights, Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not holding out hope, man.
That doesn't mean anything. There's guys that have written one fucking awesome movie and they had nothing but dog shit. Like some of my favorite movies in the world were just like one and dones. I'm not.
You be positive. I'll be realistic. How about that?
You be positive. I'll be realistic. I'm just cautiously optimistic because my takeaway is I have no say in the matter. They're making it. It's going to come out. So I guess I'll hope that it's good. I guess I'll hope that it's good because it's coming. So, and I'm just pleased that at least the stuff that's come out already is not like, oh, it's not as bad as I could have dreamt. Because like you set your bar so low. Anyway. That's where we'll leave it. Let's end the episode really quick. Go ahead and do Choose Your Destiny. Let's knock this out and end it.
So Choose Your Destiny. I didn't have a whole lot of time to come up with one, so I came up with a quick one.
That's fine. Is there a slide or no? It's just going to be
no.
Okay, it's fine.
It's a Stallone one. Cobra or Demolition Man?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I feel like Cobra is quintessential 80s, just machismo Stallone. Like we're not, not aside from Rocky, aside from Rambo, like he was kind of a parody of himself at that time, really embracing the action hero thing. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just almost like a spoof, like Cobra. Yeah. It all got so big and boiling point of that sweaty action machismo thing where they came out with Cobretti and all that. So, and I love it. But Demolition Man is where he tapped into the humor just right. It's like in the 90s, Arnold was having these big hits, taking these chances with these comedies. It's like he had Twins, and then he did Kindergarten Cop, And Stallone famously was chasing. They were rivals. He said like he would have a hit doing something. He's like, well, I had to fucking try and top him. And he said that's the reason why he did Stop for My Mom or Shoot. He said it a million times. He's like, that guy, he fucking straight up sabotaged me. And Arnold has said yes. He's like, I put the word out there because Hollywood's small, Tinseltown's small. They all talk. All the agents talk. He let it slip out there that he was in talks of possibly taking Stop for My Mom Will Shoot. And so he did that just to plant the bait so Stallone would get it because they were going after the same parts all the time. And he tricked him.
Can you imagine Stallone as Junior, dude?
Yeah. He's like, I read Stop for My Mom Will Shoot, and it was the worst piece of shit I ever read, so I wanted Stallone to have it. But anyway, Demolition Man, while it's not cheesy like Junior or fucking Kindergarten Cop, it's still it nails the comedy, and it's got like it's got a sci-fi futuristic Terminator kind of thing going on, but but with comedy, it's balanced so perfectly. I will say it's balanced better than I'm not saying which one's better, but Kindergarten Cop, Kindergarten Cop, it has a little bit of the action in there, right? Crisp and the end scene, chasing Dominic and the shootout, but it's mostly a comedy with a little bit of it. Dude, Demolition Man is 50-50. It's so balanced. It's very much an action sci-fi movie, but it's never the last never stop, and it's so fucking stupid at the same time, but it's just the perfect blend. So I'm going to go Demolition Man. How could you not?
And I did too, because I love everything about Demolition Man. I love Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock. This is probably my favorite Sandra Bullock movie.
It's peak everybody. It's peak
Dennis
Snipes.
Leary is so funny, dude. We used to quote Dennis Leary all the time back in
Rob Schneider, the Three Seashells dude.
Rob Schneider, yeah. I mean, this cast is fantastic, and I love sci-fi movies. I love 90s sci-fi shit. Even though it's not great a lot of the times, but Demolition Man is my brother and mine one of my favorites action films. So Demolition Man.
What they did right too, because when you look at a movie like I always think back about Alien. So Alien takes place fucking generations and generations and thousands of years in the future, yet they have this ancient fucking 70s tech, right? Because they couldn't quite replicate that. But Demolition Man, it looks believable. It's like they have the cars. It's like, Tesla and shit like that were kind of like, it's not going to be accurate, and maybe the timing's going to be off. But like they had like the video screens, like the video call. Oops, the naked chick. It's like, that's kind of like, a FaceTime. It's none of it looks like dated. They invented all new tech, trying to just hoping they'd get it right. It's not like somebody pulled out a corded phone. Like, they didn't see it coming. Like they really went out there and like the Taco Bell's the fancy restaurant. I appreciate what they were going for with it, and I think they got a little closer than they, Alien. But I also love Alien too. By the way, the new Alien, I don't know if they're talking about the movie. There's like a show and a movie coming out at the same time. There's the movie that's coming out by Fede Alvarez, which I'm, like I said, cautiously optimistic about, because I don't think you could do any more damage to the franchise. So bring it on. You can only do good from here. But they're also coming out with a show, like a series on Hulu, which whatever. But the person on that's doing that was saying like they're not neither the movie or the series, they're related to each other, but neither one of them are acknowledging like Prometheus and all that shit. They're like, well, Prometheus doesn't work because Prometheus, it takes you out of the movie because Prometheus is supposed to take place hundreds of years before the first Alien, yet they've got like fucking hologram screens and shit like that. It's like the tech looks like, but then the tech that came in Alien like 1,000 years later looks like it came out of 1970. So I think they're gonna lean into that 1970s tech. Like that's just kind of in the world they lived in. Like they literally have this fucking Commodore 64 tech in the future, and I think that's fucking awesome. So hopefully they just lean into that shit.
Back to Demolition Man real quick. So my brother and I used to rewind a certain scene in Demolition Man. It's when Sylvester Stallone is in the car and his brakes go out. So he's like, brake,
yeah,
brake. Yeah, you was this piece of shit. Oh, my car turned into a cannoli.
They're all. I love the sex scene, the flashbacks. Oh, when he's having like the sex, dude. oh, the fucking looks on his
Want to do
face.
the wild mamba, the hunka chunka.
What are you talking about? I didn't even touch you. It's like exchange bodily fluids. Like it's yeah, the hunka chunka. But I just love those like flashbacks of him coming, dude.
Ooh.
And he freaks out. It's just so absurd. But no, that's a good one, man. But we
Yeah.
agree on that. So let us know what you think and what your choice is. Meeting here really quick. He says, I only remember the Taco Bell tie-in commercials. I don't, which is funny. I don't really remember that. But there had to have been. There had to have been some kind of tie-in. Obviously, they had a. It's really, really fun. I always thought that what they were served, dude, those like little hors d'oeuvre sized Taco Bell fucking shit was like ass.
Oh.
But anyway,
Yeah, my
Hey!
dog's got to piss.
okay, it predicted the future. They were fining him for free speech. They were saying bad words. I feel like, is that not foreshadowing? We can't say certain things and they demonetize you. Huh? All right, guys.
Yep.
We'll catch you later. Bye.